Hello, everybody, and welcome to Virtual Bourbon. My name is Steve Akley, and we have a fun event tonight. We've got one here called Adam Stumpf's Greatest Hits, and we are sharing some of the best barrel picks from Mr. Adam Stumpf. And of course, he's joining us and from his home there in the traditional front of the picture he's always in front of. If you've ever seen any of his events. So, hey, Adam, how's it going, man?
I'm lovely, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing good as well. People are excited to come on and taste some whiskey with you. And as always, it's a pleasure to have you here with us today. So the first one that we've got, and I could have gone to the store and just grabbed Old Monroe, which is now a batched product, but I thought, you know what, because we're talking about single barrels, it'd be better to go old school and get one of your old school single barrels. It's one that I particularly liked. Is barrel 174. Can you either tell us specifically about that barrel, or what you used to do versus what you in the old days versus what you're doing now?
Yeah. So this was our flagship product back, I guess, prior to COVID is kind of when we made the switch. We did all of our Old Monroe bourbon as single barrels. And I mean, it's, very straightforward, just, pardon me. Very straightforward, just a single barrel program. Literally everything that we put on the shelf was single barrel. As many of you know, we played around a lot with recipes as we were getting started. And we didn't have, a family recipe to go back to from generations ago, because we've been farmers forever, not distillers, right? So we played around a lot with recipes, and that was all in the game to basically narrow down and really find our house recipe. So there's a lot of experimentation, and we like to kind of showcase that uniqueness. Well, we got to a point in our inventory where we were doing a lot of kind of like either single grain recipes, like 100% Bloody Butcher corn or 100% yellow corn, just with different yeast strains or different barrel profiles, just to see how everything interacts. And then when you start tasting through those, right, I mean, you might have like a Bloody Butcher that could stand alone as a single barrel, but if you're talking about yellow dent corn, yeah, it's really cool to taste the nuances that the different yeast strains provide right next to each other. But to put that into the market as a single barrel bourbon probably doesn't work, just being, 100% yellow dent corn. So that's kind of where we started the small batch program. Is we started to blend basically 5 barrels or less. And I mean, small batch is the term, but whether that's the right term or not, I don't know. Because
that does sound like a small batch, 5 barrels.
Yeah, it's super small. Like Barton's 1792 small batch, I'm told, is 200 barrels or less. So yeah, okay. I guess everything's relative. But the cool thing with the small batch, we thought, was that now you can start to blend these really unique flavor profiles together. And when you're only using 5 barrels, it's not like every bottle is going to taste, or every batch is going to taste the same. Like that's not the goal. The goal is to be able to blend very unique expressions out of the inventory and create unique flavor profiles for each small batch. And that's why we're completely transparent with it. Along with our existing single barrel or in current single barrel products, we put it all right there on our website. What's the mash bill? What's the age? All that fun stuff. So yeah, barrel 174, I've got the nerdy stats on my computer at work, but I do know that this was right at about 2.5 years old, and just nosing it.
Mm-hmm.
This would have been, and when that was, I'm going to say that this is probably pretty heavy on wheat. I'm going to guess this is close to like a 60-30-10.
Okay. Oh, he can tell us the exact mash bill because he just tasted it. So
exactly. I think it's really about 63.
The processor, yes, is going.
No, that's yeah. That was actually our very first mash bill that we started out with, was 60-30-10. And then we kind of deviated, not significantly, but kind of up to basically mash bills that are common in the industry in Kentucky, and then tried to zero back in on what we like. So yeah, this one is going to be right around that 60-30-10, 2.5 years old. Let me see what kind of deets I can pull up on it.
As he's doing that real quick, everybody go ahead and pour the wheat bottle of bond. Let's get that one sitting, and then we'll be tasting the other one in just a second here.
So yeah, oh, I do have some cool notes on that. So that was in a 30-gallon barrel.
Okay.
About 2.5 years, just shy of that. It was entered at 114 proof. So this was the point where we were starting to play around with entry proofs and really starting to drop those. You know, we traditionally barreled everything at 120 just because that's what we were told. That's what you barrel bourbon at. And we started to really play around with it. And that kind of segues into the next product too, a little bit. And we did pull that one in the middle of summer. So I don't know, interesting there. And that
Okay.
was a Char 3 barrel.
All right.
And that
The
yeast
group.
strain,
Yeah.
sorry, that yeast strain was an experimental yeast strain for us too. That was Firm Solutions, so Wilderness Trail. That was their 917 yeast strain, and that's one that you can rip through a little bit quicker through the fermentation cycle, like 3 days on the absolute top end. So that was our first time really experimenting with one of those shorter life fermentations as well.
That's interesting. All right. Let's talk about this one on the nose. Just kind of as a group, you guys can throw open your microphones, anything like that. Feel free.
Don't throw open your microphones.
Throw open, not throw up
sorry.
in. Throw up in or throw open. All right. What are you guys thinking on the nose on this one? I mean, maybe peanut brittle there.
I drank it all. Failed.
It's a fail. All right.
A little toffee, I get like just a hint of
Toffee. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of lingers through a little bit on the finish. I feel like kind of that. It's pretty oily, honestly, for a lot of stuff that we made in that time frame. It's kind of cool to go back and revisit this.
Okay. Well, yeah.
And
All right,
this
let's
would come off the pot still too.
Okay. If you haven't tasted it, let's give it a try. Here we go. Yeah, that's got a, I like that. I mean, it's sweet, kind of fruity. It's got
very
kind of,
viscous.
yeah, very viscous. It's got, and this is what, 90 proof, Adam? Is that what
Yeah, that's 90 proof.
It's got a very nice hug with it for 90 proof. I'll say that.
It does. I mean, I mean, honestly, like it drinks above proof. I would say that's probably just the youth on the barrel being 2.5 years old. And that would have had 18, and basically only really 2 summers on it. So it never really got into the hot months of summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost Dr. Pepperish.
Okay. Dr. Pepperish. All
For
right.
me, who has no taste.
What else? Mr. Gascamp, what are your thoughts? I just got fined by Bill. I guess I said I like it. I guess.
Yeah,
I
you
realize
did. It's your
I got
it's your
dinged.
night to write checks, man.
I got dinged for $1,000 for that. So
Yeah.
Michael's $7,000, I think, from last night.
I quit counting at 7 after last night.
What are you getting tasting notes on this one, Mike?
So it's interesting. So I know we had a higher proof Old Monroe last night, and the nose is actually very similar. I got a lot of the same tasting notes with that. And Adam, don't shoot, but it was what did I write down? It was kind of like dirt and raw wood, but not in a bad way.
Sure.
I think
the good way.
Oh,
Yeah.
barn dust was one of the notes I got.
Which one did you have last night?
My favorite one, your rye, the one that was stubborn German pick.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. My favorite rye of all time.
We've got a bunch of it laid down.
Yeah. I can't wait. When are we thinking that's going to be coming up?
I mean, I think it would probably be ready to go. Like it would be marketable after this summer. And it would be right in that same age range that the stubborn German barrel was.
Yeah.
But I think we're probably going to hold it for another year beyond that.
Okay.
But it's just got so many cool notes going on it.
Show me where they're at next time I'm there. I'll write ABV barrel shop.
Right.
Property of ABV. We need to get a stamp, Jim. We
Stamp,
just
yeah.
stamp the stuff. I don't want to be writing. I don't want to be writing on all that stuff. So
That's hilarious.
yeah. Casey, what are you getting on taste on this one?
I'm getting wood. I'm getting a little smoke, and I'm getting brown sugar.
Wood, smoke, and
It's
brown sugar.
it's very pleasant. I just keep sipping it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think the wood thing, I would say that is typical on our smaller barrels. I would say that's a more prevalent note on those smaller barrels. As you get into the 53s, I feel like that fades a little bit, especially in something that would be that same age. And I think that just has to do with, the surface area to liquid in that thing.
Yeah. Last night, Casey signed up for the event because of yours. I had like 5 whiskeys, and he said that he signed up because of Stumpy's.
That's fun.
Yeah. How about that? So there you go.
That's sweet.
Alicia, I should say, Alicia, what do you think? What are your tasting notes on this one?
So I tend to go with the feel more than the taste.
Okay.
For me, it is kind of hits middle of the tongue. I get that oily feel, Adam, that you talked about.
Yep.
It does tend to linger. It has a fairly nice aftertaste
Mm-hmm.
that just kind of sits on your tongue. Overall, I like it.
Okay. That's $1,000, by the way.
That goes to that's yours. You
Bill's
started.
copyrighted that in these meetings.
Mr. Bill was typing.
Yeah. An invoice is going to be coming out to here in a second. So yeah.
So who does Brad go to?
Kathy, what about you? What are your thoughts on this one?
I like the oaky, smoky, almost like campfire creme brulee.
Okay.
It's got that burnt sugar sweetness.
Okay. We'll do one more, and then we'll kind of split the group, and I'll talk to the other folks on the next one. Let's go with James on this one.
Yeah, so the creme brulee was a good one because I was playing around a little bit with the peanut brittle, definitely getting some sweetness and some vanilla. The way it sits on the tongue afterwards is warm and a little tingly and spicy and just makes me feel good on a rainy night in Nashville. But there's a bit of a sweetness that was kind of a surprise that's lingering in there. That's very, very nice.
Very nice. Okay. All right. Let's set that one aside. Well, we like to go through a second time just to kind of test to see what a lot of airtime does to it. So let's pour Big Red. But again, we're going to be coming back to the wheat bottled and bond. So we're just pouring Big Red to have it sit there.
I need more cups.
Big Red is dark. Big Red's dark. All right. But then we'll put that aside again. We're going to grab the wheat bottled and bond. That's the one we're going to be talking about. I'm sure Adam's got a great story here. This was a big release for him at the distillery recently. So he had a huge crowd show up for this. A lot of buzz going on, and people lined up at the door. So it had to feel pretty good. And then Adam, as you start a business like this, and you're, you go back to the early days of doing this. It's just you and Laura, by yourselves, at the distillery. And then, you're hoping one day you get to the point where you've got a whole staff in there and a team to help you out. And you got a beautiful place, which, you got that now. And then you got a line out the door that's waiting as you open the door. And it's like a Black Friday type of thing. Everybody's fighting who's going to open up the door because they're going to come pushing in there as soon as that door opens up. So tell us a little bit about that moment and that day.
Yeah, I mean, that was our first really, I would say, like new aged product release since the bourbon, basically. I mean, we've done single barrels and that kind of stuff at the distillery, but that was the first new product. So just a really exciting thing in general to experience, like internally, like we've been laying all this stuff down. I mean, literally waiting 4.5 years. And it was really cool to just like even reach that moment to be ready to open the doors. Yeah, that day was crazy. It was surreal for sure, because that was one of the, I mean, other than, like the grand opening, that was the first time we've had a line, and that was super cool. Like I remember whenever the tasting room was, like the original tasting room, if you guys remember, where the like the conference room we had where the bar is now. I mean, it would be so slow on some days that Laura and I would sit there and play cards like all evening. And
Right.
it was, at that point in time is when we were like, that would have been right around when we were laying this wheat whiskey down. So kind of cool to correlate how the business has changed as this whiskey has matured. So yeah, it was just it was super cool. Got to see a lot of faces that don't get to see very often, and just talk about whiskey and enjoy the day. So
Yeah, these barrels were special to you. They were actually inside the distillery. So right as you walked in, if you ever saw, there's a rack in there right to the left. And for years, you and I would drill into these things, and yeah, it was fun. It was just really good whiskey, and you would talk about, one day I'm going to be selling these, and I love the idea, but then I hate the idea it's not there to drill into that anymore. So
we'll have to replace them with something.
yeah, nothing new going in there, nothing special sitting there right now, right? You do have some stuff in there. What's in there right now?
It's just a bunch of MGP stuff for a client. So
okay, yeah, we need to fix that situation.
Yeah, right. No,
yeah.
that's a really good point, Steve, because those are the only barrels. So like in that time, like as just the business matured that we were talking about, we went from having all of our barrels stored in that building. I mean, we did everything in that one building, right? Literally everything from cleaning grain, filling grain, barreling, the barrel storage was there, everything. Then we added the back building, and we had palletized barrel storage, and then we put the ricks in, and now we have, regular rick storage. But those 4 wheat barrels were the only barrels that ever lived their entire lives in the distillery, that had any really age on them. So maybe there's something to that too.
Yeah,
they certainly got plenty of temperature fluctuation, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the whiskey itself here. What's going on with this whiskey?
So the origin of it was that I was always annoyed that people claim that wheat is like a boring grain, right? Even with how popular wheated bourbons are, distillers tend to think that wheat is a boring grain, right? It's soft. It's just gonna, let characteristics from other grains come through. So this is kind of when we were experimenting, and we're like, forget it. Let's just make 100% wheat and see what it actually does. And the thought was like, we want to actually age it out. So we made a little 4-barrel batch, and we did a very, very low entry proof on 3 of the barrels. We put the whiskey in the barrel at 93 proof. And then
unheard of,
barrels, yeah. Well, then one of the barrels, we put it in at 120 proof. And then theoretically, if you blend, if everything was constant, if you would blend those volumes together at their proofs, it should come out right around 100 proof. So as we kind of got into it, we're like, that'd be a really good target to just let those age out for bottled and bond. So yeah, that's what we did. And I really do feel like the different entry proofs in this product really added to it, because I mean, I've got samples of the higher proof stuff and the lower proof stuff sitting at the distillery, and they taste like 2 completely different whiskeys. So pretty cool to see. I mean, they literally came out of the exact same tank. So pretty cool to see how they mingled.
Yeah, but what's so unique about this is then your approach allows you to, by doing 3 barrels at 93, 1 at 120, then it allows you to do a bottled and bond without really hardly having to add any water. I mean, and again, that's almost unheard of. For the most part, people are going to have, much higher than they take it down with water. But you tried to do some math and come up with a formula that allows you to really not have to enter water into the equation.
Yeah, the batch proof on this was like, I mean, just a hair over 100. So we had to barely put any water in whatsoever. And if you think about, I mean, it's a really stupid way to age whiskey because it's so expensive. Like what you're doing is you're just aging your proofing water pretty well. Right. So it's really expensive to do, but at the end of the day, you get that concentrated character that you would get in a barrel proof at 100 proof. So it's a pretty cool premise.
Yeah. Yeah, that is pretty cool. And something else I'll say, and we'll get ready to taste this in a second because taste is always going to be the most important thing when it comes to this stuff. But, you know, when it comes to the big guys, wheat whiskey is not very popular. There's not a whole lot of wheat brands out there, but the ones that are out there tend to not be very good, even from the big guys, the people that really know how to make whiskey and make some of the best whiskeys in the world, you know, big heritage brands. And so the fact that you've got this, that's going to be the challenge here. You know, can Adam Stumpf create a flavorful wheat whiskey when it's seemingly a pretty tough whiskey to make well?
Yeah, it's tough. And I would say wheat whiskey in general too. Like if you taste a bunch of them just across the market, regardless of who they've come from, they tend to be a little bit thinner, I would say, just across the board. So that's a very tough characteristic of that grain to deal with. So yeah, I don't know.
All right. With that in mind, let's start the tasting. Let's what do we got on the nose here, folks? That's just kind of a communal thing. Just throw it out there. What do you guys think?
Spearmint.
Spearmint, okay. I mean, it's kind of like maybe wheat toast with jam on it or something. Because I do get some
Getting a little, just a faint hint of like a little bit of lactic, a little bit of butter kind of hiding out in there to go with your toast.
Yeah, okay. Butter and jam.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd call it butter and caramel, and I'm a wheater gal, so this has a
Okay.
pretty good nose for me.
Okay. We'll see if it lives up to Sally's expectations. And here's the deal with Sally. We are going to be asking her tasting notes because we did ask her on the last one. She can be as rough as could be, Adam. So you know, if she wants to, she doesn't like it, she'll slay you right here. It doesn't
That's
even
fine.
matter. Yeah. No, so we'll
Let
see
her
how it
rip.
goes. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Good luck. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
Yeah.
But good news, Brad is always opposite me, so either way you win.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, that is nice. And it's definitely not thin. I mean, that's got a great mouthfeel, buddy.
Yeah. And I think I feel like that has everything to do with those 93 proof barrels.
Yeah.
If you taste the higher proof one, it is definitely thinner. The lower ones provide that backbone, I feel like.
It's what's great is, again, kind of sweet and kind of bready up front, but then it is spicy on the back too. I mean, that's not what I'm expecting with a wheat whiskey like that. I'm expecting sweet is what I'm expecting.
That has always been the biggest like surprise
Right.
about this whiskey to us, is that the amount of spice in there.
Yeah.
One other interesting thing is the barrels we chose for this. They were all ISC Cooper Select barrels. There were a couple though that were the wave stave barrels, which that's the extraction chart that we bring shows. That's the most complex extraction barrel that they have. It's like the most balanced. So
Yeah.
I often wonder like how much of that spiciness did we get out of the wood versus the wheat, you know?
Yeah. All right, let's go to let's do a little round robin here. Adam, I ask if Sally rips into you and you feel the need to flip her off, please turn off your camera. And with that, we'll go to Sally first and see how it goes.
The nose was much sweeter than the taste to me. Let's preference that with I've been drinking rosé. However, it's delicious. I think it is complex for being more of a singular grain. Sugar likes
That's
it.
sugar. Sugar likes it.
That was, she said yes. And I think it tastes very like fresh cut wheat to me, not fermented or musty or anything. It's fresh.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's one of the crazy things. As we would taste this barrel throughout its life cycle, the note that I always got was like our old hammer mill would always clog up when we were milling wheat, and you'd have to dig it out, and it was like just warm whole wheat flour, and I get that note a lot in this.
Brad, how about you? What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I like the nose and the taste. Sal's first taste back when you first started talking about it, she was like, doesn't match the nose. And then we were on mute. And I was like, I don't know why you don't like it. She's like, actually, I do like it now. So
It opened up a little bit more.
yeah.
I tasted it early because I was so excited about it, but after a few more minutes.
You're not supposed to work ahead. That's fine. Yeah.
You know what? Sometimes it's to the advantage.
Okay. All right.
So yeah.
Let's jump down to Jim. Jim, what are your thoughts on this one? Tasting notes.
I enjoy that, and I get what Adam was saying about the, pulling that grain out of the hammer mill, because I get a little bit of bread to that, a little wheat bread on there, a little kind of, I don't know, doughy almost flavor to it on the backside. So I enjoy that.
Okay. All right, Mr. Bill.
I like it.
No fines required.
There you go. Adam, you can use that on your website now. So yeah, I like it. And then Mr. Bill is
Mr. Bill approved.
Yeah. So there you go. All right. Sean, how about you? What are your thoughts on this one as you taste it?
So I've never noticed this before. I may have had a little bit of this already.
Exactly. He was there. One of the people in line come strolling
in. But I have a spearmint aftertaste in my mouth. And I've never thought about it having any mint in it. But now that it's been said, I'm sitting here and thinking, I haven't chewed any gum in the last 3 hours, but that's the, it's spearmint that is in the back of my mouth and it just lingers.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's only fitting.
Adam didn't want to advertise the mint that he put in it.
The mint, yeah.
Do you know how bad I would feel if I put anything into like an actual aged whiskey? Oh my God. It breaks my heart when I have to make pecan pie.
Yeah. Oh. His wife insists on it. He's always like, we don't want to do that one. So, but yeah. Yeah. Gavin, how you doing?
Not too bad. I'm sorry I joined late, but had to drive to Michigan today. So I'm now in Detroit. So
in Detroit,
I just got to my hotel room. So
Detroit. All right. Yes, we're on the second one right now, which is the wheat bottled and bond. That's the one that we're drinking right now.
All right.
And then we got the one called Big Red. That's poured and ready to go. That'll be the next one. Okay. So, yeah. So, anything else? Any other notes on this one before we move on to the Big Red? All right. We will come back. We'll let it sit even longer and then come back and see what more time does to it. Let's pour the wheat and Tarnation as we pour one ahead of where we're going to be at. We're going to be tasting the Big Red here in a second. But let's pour wheat and Tarnation and have that one ready to go. And then we'll grab Big Red, which is very dark. Great color here. Nice deep amber, I'd say. I mean, really cool. So tell us a little bit about Big Red. What's going on with this one?
So Big Red was a single barrel selection by Fresh Time. It was the new store that they put in the Foundry in St. Louis. And it's pretty crazy. We were up in the Rick House, when the weather permits, we do the tasting up on the second story of the Rick House there and have the barrels there. And, we'll normally sample 3, 4, maybe 5 if we're getting crazy, different bourbons. And we sampled some pretty interesting stuff in my mind. I thought there were some really nice ones in that lot. And, when you get to the possible opportunity of pulling a 6th barrel, you often have to wonder, well, is this, are they going to choose this just because they're drunk kind of thing, right? So we've already had 5 barrel proof samples. So anyway, we had this other barrel we were talking about, just unique things that we have. And this was our first batch of Bloody Butcher anything that we did. So we'd grown the seed stock up in years prior, planted that, and then harvested it. And then subsequently, as soon as we got done with harvest, we turned a bunch of it into bourbon and then saved, some more seed stock. But anyway, This was the first iteration of that. This was in a wave stave barrel from ISC again. And it's interesting that it's so dark because we tried this thing, like we tried it with them and they're like, whoa, that's crazy. Like that's so unique. I think we want that one. And then we kind of really dove into this whiskey and tried it at a few different proofs. And almost always when you talk to a customer, they always want it at barrel proof. And I would say generally, I agree that, you know, I would prefer to have a whiskey on the shelf at barrel proof. Barrel proof on this one was like, it was pushing 130. It was like 129 and change. So it was up there. We ended up knocking it down. Steve, you have the bottle in front of you. I think it's 112, right?
Yeah, it's 112. 112.
Yeah, so we ended up pulling this one all the way down to 112. We thought 112 was a really nice balance of the whiskey kind of opening up, maintaining a lot of characteristics and texture and all of those things without really diluting it too terribly much. And it was certainly more approachable at 112 than 129. 129, it was really good. It was chock full of flavor, but you had to really enjoy high proof bourbon to enjoy that one for sure. So yeah, this is 100% Bloody Butcher. This was, again, you know, first time we had this stuff in our hands, so we wanted to see what it did. And that's it.
Yeah, I can't imagine how dark it was before you proofed it down a little bit too. So yeah, really
looked like coffee.
Yeah, I guess. You're not lying there. All right, let's talk about this one on the nose, folks. Again, as a team here, kind of a group thing. Just throw it out there if you got something.
Bananas.
Bananas, okay.
Yeah.
We got one. If you like bananas, we got one coming out there.
Baked fruit.
Baked fruit. Baked fruit. Okay.
So that one was about that was a little over 3 years, about 3 years, 4 months.
So Adam, was it your choice to proof it down or their choice to proof it down?
I was offer like, hey, do you guys want to try this at a few different proofs? And they did. Almost nobody ever takes me up on that. And then when we did try it, I think we tried it at barrel proof. We tried it at 120. We tried it. This was actually supposed to be 110. And I was like, that's close enough. Let's try this. And that ended up being the one.
That's the one. Okay.
Yeah, we did also go down to 100 proof, and we felt like it definitely lost too much once it got down to 100.
Okay.
So just out of curiosity, so what is the cost difference in a barrel if they're proofing it down? Is it the same cost because it's the same barrel, or are you charging because the more bottles you're charging by the bottle, so you want to proof it down?
So I want to proof it down, right? Because our cost to the distributor and subsequently the retail cost doesn't change whatsoever, or the wholesale.
So even so full proof, you don't charge more for full proof than for 90 proof, say.
In the current schematic, that's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, some distillers do, some don't. That's what I was just wondering.
Yep, for sure.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let's give this thing a taste and see where we're at here, and then we'll call on some of the individuals here. I mean, that's really nice. Again, warms up on the end, spicy on the end, sweet, and I think Jim's baked fruit. It's kind of like a fruit pie type of taste in the middle, for sure.
With cinnamon.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely cinnamon.
Cinnamon, yeah.
Cinnamon, yeah.
Yeah, Big Red was for both the corn and the crazy amount of cinnamon that was in
cinnamon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's again, this one was surprising, a lot like the wheat. I mean, it's a single grain expression. So to have these different notes and the sweetness and the fruitiness and the spiciness and all that stuff just from one particular grain is fascinating.
Yeah. All right, let's go to James first. James, will ask you what are your thoughts on this one taste wise? Any tasting notes you want to share with the group?
Yeah, I get the cinnamon. baked apples. I think it's apples. So once again, we have the big red thing going on because that's the baked fruit that I'm getting. I'm definitely seeing some parallels as we go through this line, right? That spiciness on the palate, the warmth on the tongue when it finishes. I feel like when I'm done with the 6, I'm going to be able to pick a Stumpy's barrel out of a lineup.
That's good. Yeah.
Until you get to the last one, I think.
Well, yeah, but we know the last one's an outlier, right?
So the interesting thing about the way you line this up too, Steve, is the progression, basically the progression of the stills. So the first 5 are all pot still, 4-plate whiskey column, deflator on top. The Bananas Foster was the very first barrel that we ever released off of the continuous column that we designed. And then we're into more of that whiskey now. And then our current still, we're not, I mean, we obviously haven't touched that. We just got it up and running in December. So unless you're a vodka fan,
you can get some of the vodka off there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Casey, how about you? Tasting notes on this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the, I like the baked fruit on the nose. I think it does kind of give you that, that heat that you're looking for, that big red moniker. And there's a sweetness, an extra sweetness in there that's intriguing to me. I think that might be a product of the, the mash bill.
Yeah. Alicia, what are your thoughts on this one?
I would rename it to Sweet and Spice.
Sweet and Spice, yeah.
I like that.
That would work, right? Yeah.
Yes. The thing I found very interesting, I kind of get that same feel that when you have red pepper flakes, you eat pizza and you get that red pepper flake on your tongue. That's the flavor that I get from it, which I happen to like. And I also noticed that as I drink it, the taste gets spicier and the smell gets sweeter.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. Could just be me.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Gavin? What are your thoughts on the taste?
So again, very sweet on the tongue. Again, it's a note. It's like, very fruity on the nose, very, very immediately sweet on the tongue, but mostly, I mean, it's all cinnamon to me. I mean, that's really what I'm getting out of it. Once it kind of gets, the heat in there and all that kind of stuff, it's literally like, eating like the big red gum.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's exactly what it tastes like to me. And I like it. It's really good, actually. It's nice and warming.
Excellent. Yeah. Yeah. This would be a real good one, winter by the fireplace, that type of thing for sure.
Oh yeah.
Would be fantastic.
Definitely.
Would be fantastic. Sally, what are your thoughts on this one as you taste it?
Oh, exactly. I completely agree with the winter aspect of it. This is warm. I would call it a big red Clydesdale. Like reminds me of whoever's the lead Budweiser horse, that's sweaty and hot and sweet and spicy. I don't know.
Wow.
Clydesdale.
I'm not sure how to take that
awesome.
one. Adam, I'll edit that down and shoot that over to you for your website. You can use that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put that tasting note in there for sure.
Yeah, if there was like Big Red, he was like, and that was his name. Like, don't think of the the red doll. It's not a doll, it's a horse.
It's the noise that a horse makes.
No, it's very good.
It sounds like a cat.
That did sound more of a cat-like than horse, but closer. But those Clydesdales are so regal. Yeah, that doesn't sound regal to me.
I don't know. What did they do?
All right, Brad. Last but not least, we'll go to Brad and ask him his thoughts. What do you?
I'm not following that, so I'll say I completely agree with Sally.
For the Clydesdale, you need to neigh with an upper-class British accent.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Not sure what that sounds like, but that's what it needs to be.
Okay.
How does that sound like, Gavin?
Already the accent jokes come out. All right.
All right, we'll carry on then.
All right. Let's go ahead and pour the Bailey's barrel. That's we'll pour that one. That's not the one we're going to taste though. The next one we're tasting is Wheat and Tarnation. You should have already had that poured and sitting out and ready to go. So pour that Bailey's but grab the Wheat and Tarnation. What's going on with this Wheat and Tarnation, Adam?
I don't know, Steve.
I mean, I know some of these stories, but again, we're doing a show here, so I have to act like I don't, because it can't be like I know, so we just don't even ask, so no one else knows. So yes, go ahead.
Well, I think this is a great barrel. This is
go ahead. Tell the whole story though. Don't give the abridged version of it. Yeah.
This is a 30-gallon barrel.
Okay.
60 corn, 30 wheat, 10 malt, and it was kind of, one of those barrels that we had tagged for a single barrel for a long time.
Yes.
It was just, even for whatever reason, I mean, in other barrels in that particular lot, this one kind of stood out. So it was always kind of earmarked. We happened to taste it at a particular event, and people tended to enjoy it.
Go on.
And I'm not going to say there was a firm commitment. I'm going to say there was
there was a firm commitment,
a soft commitment, probably, to this particular barrel. But we, ended up, I was a terrible friend, and I sold this barrel to a different retailer. And Steve hates me now and gives me shit.
So he promised it to me, but then a better offer comes along from a big retailer, of course, and he just sells it right up.
To be fair, there's no better offer. The price is the price.
Yeah. So he gave as my concession price is like, I'll give you a bottle of it. So I got a bottle, and on the top I wrote the Lost Barrel, and that's when I'm happy. I'll pour out of the Lost Barrel side. When I'm mad at Adam, as I think about it and get angry again, I pour out of this side where it's the Kick in the Nuts Barrel. So it just depends on my mood as I pour out of this one. I'm always, that. So yeah, he sold it out from under me. Because yes, a big retailer came into town. Ooh, a big retailer. Forget my friend Steve. No, I just sold it to him too. I mean,
so what you're saying is the first one with cash wins.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that always the way though? Yeah, that's the way to win.
Hey, baby.
Yeah. I give him trouble, but he did the absolute right thing. So
doesn't make me feel any better, Steve.
Yeah.
I remember you telling that story, Steve, and I'm glad we get to taste
we get to taste. Yeah. So now we get to taste. The
one that lifted you off the ground a couple inches.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me tell you something. That big retailer wasn't coming in when he was just him and his wife and that little side tasting room. I was there though. Yeah, I was coming in, but we see how it is.
And actually, he wouldn't sell me a barrel the first time I was there.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, well, how much is a barrel full? And he wouldn't sell it to me because he's like, I got to have product to put in my shelves. Like, so
yeah, I mean, Sean, I think that was at that crazy time that at the time that we ran the distillery out of stock on, we didn't sell bourbon at the distillery for probably, well over a year, maybe close to a year and a half, just to make sure we had enough bourbon to go into the market. So it took us 4 years to make our first 500 barrels, 11 months to make the next 500, and now we can make 500 barrels in a couple of weeks. So it's just the way the inventory has kind of progressed and the barrels that we have available, it's bizarre. It's like every barrel has a story because literally our business was hinged on something at the point that barrel was either being made or dumped.
Yeah.
I remember how long it took me to get a single barrel pride out of your hands. So
you're right.
Yeah.
It took a 15 by 15 poster to do it.
Yeah, I appreciate the poster.
Yeah. So Jim used to run Total Wine, and then Adam's featured in one of their stores, the one in Illinois. So big, huge poster of him and his wife. So yeah, it's nice. All right, let's talk about Wheat and Tarnation. What are you guys getting on the nose on this one? Smells like money.
All kinds of awesome. Smells like money.
Oh, that hurts.
It's all about the money, apparently. Friendships, no.
Spite and regret to me, Steve.
Yeah.
I think it smells like big retailer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steve, what is the proof on this? Is it like 123?
Yeah, it's up there. It is up there. Let's see here. They're always, whatever one I want's always at the back. It's 123 is what it's at. So
So that was barrel number 142, 30-gallon barrel, entered at 119 proof. Let's see, how old was that barrel? That was just shy of 3 years in that 30-gallon barrel.
Okay.
And it
Let's give it
lived through, let's see, 18, 19, and 20. So it lived through 3 summers.
there's 3 summers. Okay.
So cool thing about this mash bill, it's actually pretty close to what is now our house mash bill. So our house mash bill, we ended up, it's from 1937 out of this publication, and it ended up being really similar to this particular mash bill. It is 60% corn, 25% rye, 15% malt. But we will swap the rye and the wheat for a wheated version. So this is a really similar version to the wheated bourbon that we're laying down now. Although now, instead of using yellow corn, we do use primarily white corn. And we'll throw some red corn in there once in a while, just swap the white out for red and do that stuff. But this is a pretty good approximation to what our current mash bill is.
All right, let's give it a taste. If you haven't done so already, let's see what we got here. I mean, what do you guys think?
Sweet, but alcohol forward.
Sweet, alcohol forward, kind of Cracker Jacks to me.
Mhm.
Is what I'm
Yeah,
getting.
that's kind of what I'm getting out of it too.
Yeah,
It's kind of the toffee,
Right.
like fudge flavor
Yeah,
almost. Yeah.
right. And you know how Cracker Jack is like a little bit darker than, some of the other ones that are out there, and it's just kind of that kind of the taste to it. So yeah, there's different types of caramel corn, and that one's a Cracker Jack's a darker one. So yeah, that's what it tastes like to me.
Mhm.
But what about you, Kathy? Old KK herself.
I was getting some sort of like cherry sweetness,
Cherry sweetness. Okay.
but
Well-
maybe that's the caramel.
Okay.
Cherry's a good note. I tend to pull a lot of cherry out of most of our stuff with wheat, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike, how about you?
I got a whole lot of like kind of butternut toffee on the front. And then Kathy Knight, you said it, the cherries there, and it's almost like to me, it's almost like cherry wood smoke. It's kind of that sweet, smoky flavor.
Okay.
More so than the raw cherry or maybe cherry pits.
You know what's hilarious? Your guys' palates are on. So the barrels that you've said have smoke come from one particular cooperage. Both 30-gallon barrels. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Because it's almost kind of going to, if you smell it long enough, it almost kind of gets that minty, earthy quality. That minty earth smoke kind of thing that always hangs around in the back once you get past the sugar.
Yeah.
Maybe I just like barn dirt. I don't know.
Yeah. Jim, how about you? What are your thoughts on this one?
I would agree with that kind of that toffee for sure. I love the mouthfeel to this. And what I love about this one, there's no hole in the palate. There's something all the way through. There's a lot of bourbons you taste where there's nothing up front, but everything's in the middle or the back or vice versa. And this one gets the entire palate. So it's just enjoyable all the way through. And it's got a nice lingering finish to it. I definitely get that toffee, that dark fruit, that dark cherry, in there as well. So fantastic.
Nice.
Tastes like capitalism, Steve.
Exactly.
Wow.
Sean, how about you? It was hurtful, but yeah,
I gotta go.
We got past it. We've gotten past it.
I'm gonna make up for it on Friday, Adam. We'll be there.
Yeah.
Cherry wood smoke, I think, is a real good description.
Good description. Okay. All right. Last but not least on this one will be Mr. Bill.
I like it.
You like it? Okay. Okay. He can say
Hey,
that.
Can I buy a barrel? Can I buy a barrel of this?
He probably would sell you one. Yeah.
I probably would.
The right price.
Yeah. Gary, just check in with Gary. I'm not, I never asked a distiller to talk about another distiller's product. That's not right. But Gary, how are you doing down there? He's got a little bit of delay too because he's at his house.
Gary Heingardner, the man, the myth, the legend.
Right in the middle of
For some reason, I want to do this as he's talking.
Those all sounded like nice things, I think.
I think they were very nice things.
That was very complimentary.
Liked it.
Stephen Hawking.
Yeah. Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
Too soon. Too soon.
Too soon. Too soon.
Too soon.
I
All right.
disagree. I disagree, Katie. That's good.
Let's pour Bananas Foster, but let it sit aside. Don't even smell it. Don't
Don't even
cheat.
smell it.
Don't
Don't look at it.
put it far away from you and leave it over there and grab
You're not the boss of me.
Bailey's Barrel. Bailey's Barrel. That's the one we're going to be talking
Lock the
about.
windows up.
All right.
What's the proof on Bailey's barrel, Steve?
Bailey's Barrel. This one is 127 for Bailey's Barrel. 127.
I thought that one was up there.
Is this one you wanted to, Steve?
No, I didn't know. I don't know anything about this one. He'll have to tell me about this. So yeah, it's got the dog on the side. So is it named after a specific dog? What's going on with this, Adam?
So Lebanon Wine and Spirits came and picked this barrel with, they've got kind of a little crew that, a lot of the guys from Gateway Whiskey Society, for those of you that might be St. Louis social media folks, they came out, picked this barrel, and a chunk of the proceeds went to a local non-kill shelter. And one of the gentlemen had just lost his dog, and that pooch's name was Bailey. So they affectionately named the barrel after that, because all those proceeds go into the non-kill shelter. So really cool, really nice on their part for sure. The whiskey is, this barrel is out of a really special lot to me. So there were 4 barrels in this lot. At the time of the pick, 2 of them were already gone, and then 2 remained. One of those barrels, however, is Charlotte's barrel. So for any of you guys who have been to the distillery, we put a barrel back, the barrel that's closest.
Were you going to sell your kid's barrel?
No, Steve.
My God, man. He distills one for his kid when she's born.
Her name is on the barrel already, Steve. No, so it was out of the same lot. So they ended up choosing this barrel. So it's a really unique lot too, because
Charlotte, you're going to have to share with your sister because we sold your barrel.
Steve, if I could smack you through this Zoom call, I would. It was like the way we distilled, right? You make your heads cut, you make your tails cut, and you keep the hearts. It's what you proof and barrel. Well, we had accumulated a bunch of these tails and heads, and we, at this point in time, we're making a super, super conservative cut. So we're like, well, there's still a lot of good stuff attached to those cuts that we're making. So what we did is we took all of those cuts, threw them back in the still, and ran them off. And that turned into those 4 barrels of whiskey. They were all the 60-30-10 mash bill. But there's no batch that's going to be like this one again, because it was kind of that thing like moonshiners do at the end of the season, right? You have all your leftover ingredients, you just make a batch of whatever that is. That's kind of what this was. And we were really, really pleased with the way it aged out. So this barrel, let me see if I've got some stats on it. Let's see. This one was just shy of 4 years. It was 45 months old, aged in a 4-char barrel, 120 proof entry, which explains the 127. Yeah, and then chosen by Lebanon Wine and Spirits, or Glenmart, they also go by. So yeah, super cool pick.
All right, let's talk about this one on the nose.
Damn.
This
Werther's
is my
original.
grandmother's pecan pie.
Pecan pie.
Yeah.
Werther's hard toffees.
Werther's toffees. Okay. Yeah.
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 I was going to say like,
Yeah, this is like all the good sweet stuff in life.
Yeah.
I was going to say like Nilla wafers, that's
Yeah.
kind of
Yes,
vanilla.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost getting to that banana pudding.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That goes good.
I'm getting that on the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been sitting too close to the bananas Foster.
Got some osmosis going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the name of that circle donut with the pecans on top with the caramel icing and the cinnamon? That
George.
George.
Same
Yeah,
George.
I would love him.
That means-
Call him George.
George for breakfast today.
It smells like George. All right.
Interesting. All right, let's taste it. Let's see what we got here with the Bailey's pick.
Oh damn!
Wow.
That'll hurt you.
Yeah. Jeez, Adam, for 127.
That'll hurt you.
Yeah.
That'll sneak up on you. You talked about slapping me. That'll slap you right there. You just drink a few of these and try to stand up is the key there.
Is that barrel still for sale?
But just remember, when he goes to pay for Charlotte's college or her wedding, he'll need money.
The girls get to decide what they're going to do with those barrels whenever they turn 21 years old. So if she's nice, maybe she'll share some bottles.
Okay. All right. I gotta be nice to Charlotte when I go over there then.
Exactly.
Does she have a 529 set up already? I'll start donating now. Kind of play that benefactor role. Just don't forget about me later.
Yeah.
This could be a hazmat barrel by that point. I mean, it gained 7 proof points in little under 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah, work on some hazmat ones. Jim and I are trying to be the home of hazmat with our store. So
we're not telling our insurance company that though.
Right. This is being recorded. So no, we're just joking about that.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
Crank collar.
Yeah. All right, let's go around the horn here to our other half of the group here. We're going to start with Casey this time. Casey, what tasting notes on this one?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. This one's a little tough. I'm kind of getting a little bit of everything. It's it's got sweetness to it. It's got a nice
gets like some
finish.
apple in there. There's some apple in the middle of that thing.
Yeah, I'm getting it kind of I'll do my go-to for the complex flavors, Christmas cake, lots of fruits and nuts and pastry and all kind of mixed together.
A bunch of spices in there too, of course.
With alcohol in it,
Yeah. Fair enough.
Casey, that sounds like Christmas dinner at my house.
Yeah.
Lots of nuts and lots of alcohol.
Yeah. On top of the food, with the food, after the food, it's all good.
It's all good. All right, Gavin, we'll jump to you next.
Well, kind of continuing the theme, a little bit of kind of English Christmas pudding.
Okay.
I'm also it's very smooth at the front end and then kicks you in the teeth from behind.
Yeah.
Really weird.
Yeah.
But I'm liking it. I'm digging it. It's good bold flavor. It's really nice.
Okay.
What else to say,
Bill just hit you for another $1,000. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah.
Yep.
Really nice counts.
Yeah.
I need to.
Brad, go ahead. So what are do you have any tasting notes?
It's delicious.
Yeah.
So that I don't infringe on Bill.
Yeah.
Mr. Bill.
Yeah.
No, this is a super sweet, in a good way, bourbon. Whoever said it hits all the notes, it really hits everything. And for 127, I'm going to make an analogy when we're done with this that might surprise you, but I'm holding it over here. But this one will fall into the same category of what I'm going to say later. So,
okay.
How old is this? What's the age?
Just under 4 years. It was 45.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
Noise.
Sally, how about you?
That's my noise.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it. Okay. All right. Alicia.
Perfect. It might be perfect. I did the Freddy and I put a little water in so I could really get down to it, and it's just still nice.
Okay. All right.
That'll keep you warm at night too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alicia, what are your thoughts?
So I feel like I'm going to compete with Sally on this one. So my first thought smelling it was hot asphalt in the summer, followed with a memory of riding bicycles to the pool. So good memory. I know it sounds horrible to say that it the first smell was like hot asphalt. I have no idea why that correlation was there, but it was. Good memories. Very, very smooth. I'm surprised it's as young as it is. And it has a very, very nice flavor that I think as it ages is only going to grow.
Nice. All right. Last but not least on this round is James. Jump up to James. James, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's I got that blast of like rich brown sugar nut pecan pie on the nose that carries through, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we still get all of that just wonderful richness and sweetness. But with that, right, and I think Gavin had said it right. It's that you get that kick at the end, which is the proof, but it's a nice kick.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, please kick me again with that.
Right.
So yeah, that was yeah.
There's a lot going on there for sure.
There is.
It's like each time you taste it, you pick up something just a little bit different, which is always a good sign for sure.
Yeah, richness and complexity and just all that bourbon goodness.
Right.
Yeah, Adam, 2 thumbs up.
All right.
Thank you very much.
How long until the namesake is 21? So how long do you got to go?
Oh Lord, she'll be 4 this July. So
4.
a while.
I got a while to go. Got a while to go. Yeah. All right, Adam, let's put that one aside and we'll go to our last one of the evening. That's Bananas Foster. Adam, what can you tell us about this one?
So unlike every other barrel that we've tasted, this was made off of our very first column still.
Yep.
This was the still.
It's an ABV barrel pick too, so that's
that.
by us.
Hey, you got one.
I got one. Yeah. ABV
You
barrel
first,
pick.
right, Steve?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. That was first barrel pick. Yes. So yeah, it was neat experience.
Yes, and first barrel we ever sold off of the column still. So this barrel had this particular recipe. It was one of those, like our standard bourbon recipe is from 1937. It's from a publication. Our standard rye whiskey recipe is from a handwritten manuscript we found dated 1911. This recipe is one that we completely designed ourselves. And we kind of had this thought going into the recipe a little different than really what the whiskey became, honestly. So the thought going into it was that we're going to do this spicy sweet kind of thing. So it is a high rye white corn bourbon. Let's see, I don't know if I have the mash bill on my computer here, but I want to say it's like 51 corn, 29. So it's 51 white corn, 29 rye, 20 malt. So super high rye, barely bourbon. I mean, it's 51% corn bourbon. And we used a white corn. With our white corn, we tend to get sweeter, more like butterscotchy notes out of, and kind of pairing that spiciness of the rye, the super high rye content, the sweetness of that white corn. Let's see what that does. And we mashed it. We walked in the distillery the next day, and I mean, it smelled like bananas, like when we walked in. So it has literally had this characteristic since day one, basically. And the cool thing is, Steve, we were tasting through, barrels off the column still. I think we're Royce and Becker.
Yes, Royce and Becker were in town by chance for something. Yeah.
Yeah. So we tasted through it. At this point, that barrel was 15 months old, something like that. So the column still stuff was still aging. This was the 1, 2, 3. This would have been the 4th recipe, the 4th batch we made off that column still. So anyway, we're planning to age this stuff out, and sample this barrel and like, it's just got this crazy note in it. We're like, wow, that's.
Yeah. So, and just
Oh, yeah.
to take you back, we had selected what is now Wheat and Tarnation. That was going to be the first ever ABV barrel pick. To bring the story back around, we had selected that barrel. That was our barrel. And then Royce and Becca come into town, and they come in, and of course, Adam, being a good host, just starts drilling barrels randomly.
Steve brings the muscle in. Let's be honest.
Yeah. So we're drilling barrels, and we taste this one, and I said, I'm going to buy what is now Wheat and Tarnation. I'm going to buy that one, but I think I want to buy this one first. This is so unique. It's her first barrel pick. I want to do something really crazy and different. And so I said, I think I'm going to take that one. And Adam's like, don't worry. Wait a few months and you can pick up that second barrel. And I'll say this one. At first, he actually didn't want to sell this one because he said it's too young. I can't sell 15-month-old whiskey. And I was like, and he's like, just leave it in the barrel and it'll get bad. And I was like, well, it might lose this flavor. And this is what I want. So that's why we ended up getting this. We talked him into it, and then ultimately it leads us to him selling that other one too. So it happens.
Fine, whatever, Steve.
Yeah. Yes, and I think I had to talk Sean here. Sean on this call, he was like, "Should I buy this one?" I'm like, "Absolutely, man!" And Sean came out to the house and picked up a couple bottles. Yeah, I think he's glad he did. So,
yes, I am.
Yeah, let's talk about this one on the nose. I mean, to me, it's like going back to that day in the distillery. It's Bananas Foster.
It's bananas and brown sugar is what I'm getting.
Yeah, which is Bananas Foster. I mean, that's what it is. I mean,
yeah,
bananas, butter, brown sugar. It's all there.
A little nutty.
The age on this one?
Counter walnut in there as well.
A little walnut. 15 months. 15 months.
That's what I thought you said. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's unbelievable.
Very young. Like I said, he didn't want to sell it, and it was off his. He said he keeps saying column still, but it was really like a coffee still. So he was able to make cuts on there and stuff because he designed this thing himself. So it was crazy still.
And what we ran the still completely different for this batch too, to try to keep that banana note in there. Like, I mean, it was still evident at the end of fermentation. So we ran the column still quite a bit cooler. We ran the top of the stripping column quite a bit cooler to try to get those esters to be more prevalent. And I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. We haven't run this recipe since, so we've only run this recipe one time, but I think we're going to run it again. And the crazy thing, Steve, I know I've told you this, but we've released barrels from this particular lot, and we're actually getting ready to release another single barrel out of this lot. The banana note is like all but gone. It's crazy how prevalent it was early in that barrel's life cycle. And I would say really after probably about the 2-year mark, that the banana notes just, it's gone. It's turned more into like butterscotch, caramel, that kind of thing. Still very pleasant notes, but that super interesting banana note, like you could not get that out of an older whiskey. So this is a really cool example of, I mean, kudos and choosing a barrel at the right time.
Yeah. All right. Last one. So let's taste this thing. Let's see what we got here. Bananas Foster. I mean, it's dessert in a glass.
Mm-hmm.
Perfection.
112, Steve?
112. Yep. Right on the nose. Yep. Now, barrel strength, 112. And
what I find amazing on this is I get a dark rum taste.
Well, sure, that's in Bananas Foster. You got to have rum in Bananas Foster.
Yeah. Papa Polar we picked, Steve. That Papa Polar we picked. Like it's got that note to it. Like it's for a bourbon, it's just crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah. Because you got to have rum to make Bananas Foster. So that's in there. So when they flambe it, so that's when it gets put in. And you're going to catch that on the end because that's when it comes into the Bananas Foster at the end to flambe it. So.
This should be your Key West flagship.
Yeah, I'm in when you make another batch of this. I want to be there when it's coming off the still. I want to see if it's like you said it was, and then
so do I.
Then I want to sign my name to a barrel.
Party at Stumpy's.
I mean, it's
Can
crazy.
you make those kind of cuts on your new still?
What's that?
Can you make those kind of cuts on the new still?
We can, yeah. So we set up the deflamators in the columns, the beer heater, and the condensers to be able to still make those cuts.
That's the dirty
That's
little
all.
secret of the big guys. They're not making the cuts, and everything goes in the barrel, and they just let the barrel. That's why the stuff has to be so old. That's why you got to, it doesn't. Boy, this is good. 8-year-old or 9-year-old or 10-year-old. Yeah, because it needed to be in there that long. Not. Yeah. Adams doesn't have to be in there. 15 months old. 15-month-old whiskey right here.
Mm-hmm.
That's
yeah,
like
I'm thinking that instead of a charcuterie tray, there's more things like marshmallows, and you can choose to roast your marshmallow, and then there's a praline accompaniment, and there's a vanilla wafer, and then there's a vanilla wafer half dipped in chocolate, like that.
Yeah.
I'm not in charge, so
So basically, you've just described making s'mores, basically,
right?
Without the chocolate,
right?
Essentially, what is it? A graham crackers? We could throw in a graham cracker.
Throw in a graham cracker, sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's check in with a couple people to get some tasting notes. Sean, we'll start with you. You're familiar with this one. I know, like all of them, I think, is you're a fan of Stumpy's and you live here in the area. So,
yeah, I don't have any additional thing. It's the Bananas Foster is in my
dessert.
mind,
Yeah.
and that's all I taste, and that's not a bad thing. Just
Power of suggestion is real.
That's what I get, though. That's for me. That's what I get. That's what I got that day. That's what I'm getting now. It's nice. Mr. Bill, what are your thoughts on this one?
I like it. I like it enough that I bought a bottle.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Bill bought one of those, so there you go. Jim, how about you?
To me, it just shows what craft distilling can bring to the table. Like something at that age that is that fantastic, and that's the thing that I can't wait for you and I to share with people, Steve. But like something that's young, and I'll put against almost anything on the market. It's just so complex, just so unique, and I love it.
Yeah. Mike, have you tried this one before, Bananas Foster?
We had this
at another event.
We had this at another event, but the order in which we had it the Bananas Foster, I couldn't pick. So I'm glad we put it at the end of the night because it wasn't definitely
it's where it belongs.
Talent, yeah.
It belongs like in the dessert portion because that's what it is, right?
Yeah. I would
It's a great finish.
to like pressure condense this and then put it on bread pudding.
Nice.
Put it in the jar, throw it in the pressure cooker, and leave it there for 4 days, and see what kind of sauce you get on the backside.
Wow, that's a great idea, actually.
Phenomenal. And then that
know how to do that? I got another bottle here. I could.
Oh, yeah, you can send me another bottle, and
I could donate it to the cause if it comes back to me as
absolutely. You'll get a couple ounces of sauce out of it.
I want half the bottle at least. I mean, got to be fair. Yeah. Kathy, I don't know if she's there or not. Her video's off, but Kathy, are you around? She might have stepped away. All right. Well, there you go. There is all of them. And what do you guys think? There's some good ones there.
Well done, Adam.
Yeah, good stuff.
Thank you.
Well done.
This time can sometimes have a big impact on these. So let's go back through again. We're not going to call on anybody or anything like that. We're going to go through pretty quickly, but let's go back through each of these. So we're going to go all the way back to the end. We're going to start with the old Monroe. If you've got something you want to add, something that you feel is different or something like that, just to note that to the group. We're not calling anybody individual.
More green apple this time, or
green
apple peel.
Green apple peel. Okay.
Yeah, I get that.
Mike, which one did you say tasted like barn dirt?
This half of them.
That was the Bailey's barrel, wasn't it?
This one knows like barn dirt and wood staves.
Barn dirt and wood staves. Okay. In a good way.
Now it's much more apple to me.
James, thanks, man. Take care, buddy.
All right, yeah, I'm getting apple from that too. I didn't try it first time around, so.
Almost poured that into my nose. It's been a good night.
Yeah, it has.
Trust me, that sucks.
Yeah, don't do that. That's bad.
I'll tell you what, first time we tasted this one, and again, it's probably because we drank higher proof and stuff like that. Palates change probably more than the whiskey, but there's a spiciness that was there the first time that I'm not really catching at all this time. So again, it could be individual palate, or it could be just the time has cut the edge off a little bit. It's not because we talked about how it seemed to drink up. Now it seems to be more in line with a 90 proofer that it is.
Yeah, it has a nice kind of refreshing, cooling quality after.
It does. Yeah.
On the second time through.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not getting any barn dirt though.
Oh, no barn dirt. Okay.
Get in
No,
there, deep,
I'm
brother.
I
I'm
get
actually
some of that mustiness on the nose.
Okay.
I'm actually getting the barn dirt. I
Okay.
mean, I
Oh.
see where you're coming from, Brad. It's kind of a sweet, earthy taste. I'm getting that as well as apple. So
Nice. Nice. All right, let's put that one aside. Let's talk about the wheat bottled in bond.
This is just a winner on principle.
Mhm.
I mean, age your proofing water. Damn.
Hell
age-
yeah.
Right. Age your proofing water.
Lenny does that, doesn't he?
Yeah, he just ages just the water that he then proofs it down with. So he puts the water in a barrel and just has it sitting there. Have you ever tried anything like that, Adam? Where you just put
I always get nervous because things grow in water.
uh-huh.
Things don't grow in alcohol. So I've not done that. I've left a barrel swell too long before, and like we left 8 swell. We had water was in there for several weeks, and I don't know how long people age proofing water for, but it was 3 of the 4 barrels were completely fine, and one was like we threw it in the dumpster, like literally threw the entire barrel in the dumpster.
Wow.
But it was also the middle of summer, and like it was in
That's
a
peak
big,
season for
dirty, dusty rick house and all that stuff. So I mean, I think your conditions have a lot to do with it.
Yeah. Lenny's got altitude and temperature going for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he can keep water, like if you can taste water out of a barrel and it tastes good after you age it, like that's freaking amazing. That's super cool.
Yeah.
We tasted it.
Yeah,
It didn't kill us.
Didn't kill us. No.
Well, there
Not
you go.
yet.
Then he's good to
Not yet.
go. No,
We also tasted the dunder pit that he had there. So we don't recommend that to anybody if you're into
No.
dunder pit. Don't do that. We did though. That was dumb, but we did.
Why would you taste that?
I don't know. It's all junk and bacteria, and
I was gonna say, like, that just sounds horrible.
That being said, I
it
haven't got
was.
COVID. I never got COVID, so I don't. I have to think it was the dunder pit. Yeah.
Probably.
here.
Yeah,
Here.
that thing was crazy. It's all bubbling up and stuff. It's very crazy.
Well,
All right.
Lenny's water coming out of the ground is 35 degrees. So
True.
God, I hate him. That's so awesome. I wish I
great
had
for making
35 degree
beer.
water.
It's bad for making hot water in the shower.
Oh,
Yeah. All right, let's taste this wheat bottle of bond. See if anything's changed. Anything we want to note here. I mean,
Still fantastic.
still
Still really good.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Easy drinker. Kind of tastes like a scotchy cookie. You know, one of those oatmeal
sandy.
cookies. Oatmeal cookies with the butterscotch. They call them scotchies. That's what I'm getting.
I don't know. Like my brain, whenever I think, like I always think of a color first, and then like kind of get into the flavors. It is all brown on this thing, and it's.
Now we just figured out how your mind works there a little bit.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
mean,
interesting.
it's weird. It's a surprising, like sweet but spicy, like kind of like baking spice, like I mean cookies and all that stuff. So
toffee. I'm getting toffee.
Toffee.
yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All right, let's keep it moving along. We'll go to a Big Red. Big Red.
Some left.
Big Red.
This was the Bloody Butcher one.
The
right?
Bloody Butcher one,
Yeah.
high cinnamon content, really
I'm so
super spicy.
in
I
love
feel
with
like
Bloody
the
Butcher
bread
one.
came forward. The bread smell, like
Bread
the,
smell, yeah.
But it's like cornbread.
It's definitely again
Mhm.
different on the nose,
Yeah.
but I would say even more on the nose this time around.
Cinnamon
than-
raisin.
Cinnamon raisin. Yeah.
It's weird. Like this makes absolutely no sense. I'm going to say it anyway. I feel like I could smell the texture. Like it smells oily. It smells like
Mhm.
it's going to be like it's going to have texture. It smells like something is in there that's going to linger.
what color does it smell like?
Brown.
Golden brown and delicious.
Maroon.
Yeah, like a deep
Really?
red. It smells like a deep red to me.
Deep red,
That's
yeah.
not
Daddy's gonna
Clydesdale.
drop acid for the next tasting.
Yeah.
I had, so we.
It does not smell like a Clydesdale salad.
It does. It's
Does not
delicious.
smell like.
So sweet and sweaty and delicious. White Clydesdale.
Barn dirt.
Oh,
It
good.
has.
Sorry, Brad.
Brad smells good too, just in a different way.
Did you smell the barn dirt?
Barn dirt.
in that one.
All
A
right,
little barn dirt. Mhm.
let's taste this Big Red. This was a very spicy one. Let's see if that spice holds up through all that time it's been sitting out now. Let's see what we got here.
It
Yeah,
does.
it does.
It does. The spice holds up.
Yeah.
Still
Yeah.
cinnamon, still spicy.
Still, yeah.
It's got that creamy, there's like a creamy corn note right at the end, right before the spice hits you. I
Mhm.
think is the Bloody Butcher signature.
Okay.
Yeah, you take a shot of that and you'll sing like John Lee Hooker.
Yeah.
Or think you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of-
Exactly.
What kind of hooker?
Oh gosh.
The John Lee Hooker variety.
John Lee Hooker. Okay.
ABV After Dark. Here we go.
We are still recording.
We'll
Yes.
fix it in post. It's all right.
Yeah.
We'll fix it in post.
Yeah. A lot of high proof here tonight. You can see it's beginning to impact, I feel. So. All right. Let's put that one aside and we'll go to our last visit to a wheat and Tarnation. Let's see what we got here. Wheat and Tarnation.
I actually want to interject here because I want Sal to do a taste test between two.
Okay. All right. We got an experiment going on. Okay.
Experiment. The one I know and the one I.
This
Which
is
one
the
you
one.
want? You
This
want me
is
to
the
close
one you
my
had
eyes so you
before.
can mix
No,
one up and out?
no, it doesn't matter.
All right.
Okay. She's tasting that one. Looking off in the distance as she goes through.
Okay.
Formula.
Got it. Got it.
She's got it down.
Round
Okay.
two. Almost the same profile. The second one was sweeter and hotter.
Okay.
I'll fill in the blanks later unless you want me to now. It will involve another brand.
Oh.
I can do it later after.
Second one is sweeter and hotter. May have been higher proof. I don't know.
Save something for the live audience. YouTube's got to keep guessing.
Okay. That'll work.
It's needles right now. Jesus.
All right. All right. We do hang out and talk a little bit after the show ends. So we'll get into that afterwards. All right.
We'll do it afterwards. Yep.
All right.
Flavor
Wheat and Tarnation, back to that one.
compare.
Let's taste it and see what we got here. If there's anything we want to add to what we talked about already.
This time around, I'm getting a bit of a kind of a leather smell.
Leather. Okay.
Yeah. It's not unpleasant. It's nice.
Mhm.
I like it, but it's different than it was last time around I smelled it.
Yeah.
I got a whole lot more s'mores this time around, but I'm definitely getting the leather on the palate much
Yeah.
more this time.
Leather. Definitely.
That's,
Yeah.
that's
English
super
leather.
surprising to me.
Ah,
Busted.
yes, ma'am. You are welcome.
Thank
were you
you.
gonna
May I
say,
have
Adam?
another?
The leather's crazy to me because like I do get it, but that's normally not a note that you would get until, I mean, those notes are probably going to be more prevalent after like the 8-year mark,
Mhm.
based
Right.
on empirical data.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting to get that on the palate.
I think it's subliminal because the cow hanging behind you on the wall.
Could be.
It's true. That's true.
Or the advanced palate of his audience.
Yeah. Yeah. Either one. Either one.
I did
Barn
work
dirt,
brand new.
barn dirt Neff definitely needs to go on the flavor wheel.
It
The
is,
barn
yeah,
dirt-
along with silage.
Yeah.
Silage.
Those
I'm
are picking
We
up
hadn't had any
steam.
silage tonight.
No,
Yeah.
no.
No, I didn't have any tonight, so
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good.
Silage is a real tasting note for sure, though.
it is.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Sally, she's the first one to use it and has used it many times. All right, let's set that one aside and let's go to Bailey's Barrel. This one again, the highest proof offering of the night, coming in at 127.
Oh, there's so much butterscotch on the nose now.
Yeah, the nose is, it got even better. The nose is
Put in the
incredible.
candy.
Oh yeah, all butterscotch.
Yeah. Butterscotch bomb. It's good. All right, let's taste this one, see what we got here.
Makes me mad there's only one more barrel.
That's insane because you just have no idea. That's 127 proof.
I do love the warmth of it though. I mean, the warmth comes out in the back end and it doesn't hit you in the front end, which is kind of nice, but it kind of comes out in the back of the palate and it just kind of gives you that kind of warm feeling, which is really nice. I like it.
It does like
It's got a hug, but no burn.
Yeah, hug but no burn. Yeah, there's no burn there.
Bill's hitting the lottery.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It just gets better over time.
Yeah. That's impressive.
Yeah, I still can't believe this is as young as it is.
Yeah. Very nice.
Which is
I don't know
crazy
what-
because that's an older barrel for us. So
The Baileys.
Mhm.
yeah, I mean it's our
Almost
oldest
3, you
barrel-
said. Yeah, so it was almost 3.
No, that one was almost.
That one was
4, right?
4. Yeah.
Was it?
45 months, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adam, what's your oldest?
Barrel number 1. It is going to be 7 years old in September. And we
Not out yet.
That's like 21 years in beam years.
right now. It's
Are all your barrels 30 gallon?
No, we started with 15s, went to 30s. I'm going to say we've got probably 25.
Those are dying. Yeah, those are dying out. Yeah, it's all the
Yeah.
53s now.
So
Yeah,
barrel
and then
one
we're-
was 15.
What's that?
Barrel one was 15 gallons.
No, barrel number 1 was actually a 53.
Oh,
So yeah, we had 4 53s to start, went to 15s, then 30s, and then 53s. So yeah, we've the goal is 4 years on all 53s, bare minimum, and then we're eventually working to push the portfolio with the additional capacity to 8 years. So
okay.
then you'll get 8 years minimum, and then we'll have a 8-year plus category that kind of works in. So maybe a good time to mention it. We are working on revamping the Old Monroe portfolio now. So it's going to include the bottled and bond wheat, which you tried, of course. Steve, it is going to include the stubborn German recipe. So that
Okay. That's my favorite. Yeah.
Our rye whiskey recipe is only ever going to be barrel proof. That's the only way you're going to get rye from us. Old Monroe bourbon, you're going to get a small batch. We're going to move down in price a bit. And then you're going to get a barrel proof version of that. You're going to get a single barrel version of that, but single barrels are limited to store picks only. That is the only time we will put Old Monroe single barrel on a label is when it's in a store pick. So mostly taking the place of like the Distiller Select label that we have now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're going to have, I think I mentioned the wheat. You're going to have the finish series. So we've got a really cool finishing program that we're working on as well. So should be online within the next 24 months now. So yeah.
Great.
Awesome.
Anything else about Bailey's before we move on?
Yes, I have a question. So
Yep.
what was the proof of the Baileys?
27.
127.
127. Yeah.
And Banana Foster?
112.
Right. Okay. So I did a Freddie no on the Baileys where I had a little water and
Freddie Johnson?
Yes.
Johnson.
Freddie Johnson. There's a lot of Freddies and
There-
Freds and
there's
Freddies
one,
in bourbon. Yeah.
He puts the water in his mouth.
Yeah,
He
the
puts the
water.
water in his mouth.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
water-
That's
water-
Freddie Johnson for sure. Freddie
I
Johnson.
needed to get rid of the heat so that I could really get a flavor of it.
Yeah.
And I think it might be close to the Bananas Foster.
Okay.
It's a very close second with a little
Really?
water.
Okay. Okay.
Try it out.
Try it out. Try it out.
I agree with Sally. I think it's like, I go back to that hot summer day, diving in a pool, coming back out, getting in the heat again. That's what drinking this feels like.
Nice.
Nice.
All right, so let's move on to our last one, last tasting, and that is Bananas Foster. Let's see what we got here. Nose is like Bananas Foster. Let's taste it.
I'm get around Bill's copywriting and say I really like it.
Yeah, you can get around it with that.
That's free. That's a fair use.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's like on the tour they tell you at Old Forester. It used to be Old Forester with 2 R's, but it was named after that doctor, Dr. Forester, and they paid him a residual, but then I guess when he passed away, they cut that out and didn't pay his family after that. But they reduced the Forester from 2 R's to 1. It's totally different. It's totally different. They say that on the tour, so I'm not saying anything out of line. That's where I heard it. So
I'm still getting the same from this one as like, the sweetness, the rum, the sugar, the bananas. I mean, I'm definitely tasting all of that.
It's consistent. So this one,
It's definitely the most consistent out of the lot, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know how you recreate a single barrel, but please do.
Please do. We want this one at the shop.
All right, you guys coming over? We're gonna mash it.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll be there
Friday if that's still good.
Yeah, we'll be there Friday.
It's a long drive, but I can offer up the services of a 44-year-old intern.
Here's our 44 intern, Mikey. Yeah. All right.
54-year-old assistant to the 44-year-old intern.
There we go. Now it's a party.
I'm just in the wrong state right now.
Yeah. Well, get here. Yeah. You make it happen.
It's the Union State, so you have to ask permission to leave.
Keep
Anything
drinking
else?
this stuff, and you'll be in the right mind state.
In the right state of mind.
Yeah. All right. What we'll give you a little bit of time, just a minute or so. We are going to ask what your favorite of the night was. So again, it's Old Monroe. It's the Wheat Bottle and Bond, Big Red, Wheat and Tarnation, the Bailey's Barrel, or Bananas Foster. We are simply asking your favorite. You don't have to rank them or anything like that. The only thing, you're only voting for one, and that is your favorite of the evening. All right. All right. Give you just
the PGA Tour.
A little bit of time to go through, taste side by side. You want to get it right. You want to make sure you get the right one. And we'll see what happens.
I'm running out of whiskey to taste.
Exactly.
Steve, I'll be honest. I don't even think I've got all of these bottles in my library anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
That's just going to ask you, like, how extensive is your library? What, do you keep one of everything, or apparently not?
We'll normally save at least a case of everything.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
But, like all of these have tended to disappear over time. So.
Yeah, because they're good. They're good. So that's what goes. All right. I'm going to start going around the horn and just simply asking what's your favorite. I'm going to go in the order you guys are on my screen. It doesn't necessarily coincide with how it works on your screen, but that's what I do. So don't think I'll make sure I get to everybody. So Sean, you're going to be first. What is your favorite of the night?
I think I'm going to stick with Bananas Foster.
Bananas Foster goes up 1 on everybody else. Sally, we'll go to you next.
Ooh. I'm going to pick the Bailey's Barrel because I feel like it encompasses everything that Bananas has, and you can kind of tailor it to your night, depending on how much ice cubes you put in it.
Yeah. Sounds like Sugar voted for that one too, because the dog on the side.
Right. She always votes the same as me.
Yeah. All right. Brad, how about you, man?
I'll go Bailey's also.
Okay.
The wheat right behind it was my second choice, but yeah.
All right. Jim, how about you?
Man, well, I really love the Bananas Foster. It's kind of a one-off dessert thing for me. So if I'm gonna just sit down and drink a fantastic bourbon, that Wheat and Tarnation for me is the winner.
Wheat and Tarnation. Okay. All right. Mr. Bill.
Wheat and Tarnations.
Wheat and Tarnation. Okay. Alicia.
Gotta go with Sweet and Spicy, otherwise known as Big Red.
Big Red. I like this. You're getting votes across the board here, which is nice. Got to be nice for you, Adam, as a distiller here. All right, Casey.
This is a tough one, right? I came for the Bananas Foster because I had that the previous session. And the Big Red, I love Bloody Butcher Corn, but Bailey's has to take the cake for me today.
Bailey's gets its third vote. All right, Mr. Gascamp.
I'm gonna go with the wheat bonded just to be different. And
Okay.
they're all, yeah, you can't pick, man. They're all delicious.
It's tough. It is not easy. All right, Kathy.
I love dessert, so I'm sticking with Bananas Foster.
Bananas Foster. Okay. All right. All right, Gavin.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bailey's Barrel.
Bailey's Barrel.
You know,
Okay.
I feel like that's a great whiskey that I could sit there and drink with a cigar in my hand. It feels nice. You know, it's a good whiskey.
Nice. All right, Gary. We won't ask you to weigh in on these, but we can ask you what your favorite is of the evening.
Well, I don't know. Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
We can.
Yeah, that's all. Can you hear me? Actually,
Yes.
Yeah. No, we can hear you.
It's not showing up on my screen. So,
Okay.
it's a great spread here tonight. I just really am bummed out because I just didn't communicate very good. I dropped out about Big Red and then missed a lot of the other stuff, but he's got a fantastic array of things here. I'm going to have to call Adam on a 1-to-1 and we have to run over there and maybe catch up on some things after hear the recording. He's doing some great stuff. I just really enjoy, what somebody else is doing. And I think it's fantastic that he's got some certain barrel picks here, which are unique. And I really like that aspect of it because a lot of us put out the number one thing and we produce it every day. But it's those oddball stuff that we did once upon a time that we didn't know why or how come it did. Those are the unique things about the craft distilling business. It really makes worthwhile and it makes this kind of program, such a cherry cake here. I mean, it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
And I think there's something that goes through all of Adam's stuff. I get this whiff of it seems to me like a sycamore or the sycamore log, not the bottom log, but the up log, the second log. Maybe it's just died or it's just not green anymore. But when you split it and you have that aroma that comes out of that split log, that's a green sycamore. It's not a woody thing. It's
green
not a white
sycamore
oak.
just
It's
died.
not
The
a-
second log.
It's not a
though.
rancid smell.
Yeah.
Oh.
Second log though, yeah. And
Okay.
it's one of those things that you can smell the Mississippi River swinging up that sycamore that comes through that whiskey, that is so prevalent that just comes all the way through Adam's stuff. I love it.
Nice. All right. Do you have a favorite? Have you tried them all or?
I tried them all, and I'm kind of a sweet tooth guy too, and I love cordials. The Bananas Foster is just like super special, and I love super special stuff. So I would either do the Baileys or the Bananas Foster. But I just love what he's done with the wheat. We just finished our first total wheat thing just this last week. And we put it in at low proof. I think that's complicated. When you go in at low proof, you really have to watch what the aging is and what the wood is, how much air dry it is, because you're going to pull out all kinds of different kind of tannins when you do that. Going to change it up. So, when you change one thing, you have to look at all the other things that contribute to that. But you guys put on a great program tonight. I really enjoyed being part of it. And appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Sounds good. All right. With Gary's vote, which I went with his first one, Bananas Foster, which I'm going to vote for as well. Means we have a tie here. But Adam, we're going to have you weigh in on. We're going to ask you which is your favorite of your kids here. Which is your favorite out of the 6 tonight?
Shit.
Yeah.
And you know how we feel.
Yeah,
You can't be wrong. It's yours.
I know. It's like choosing your favorite kid. I love them all
Right.
for their own reasons.
You have a favorite. Let's be honest.
So I'll ask it a different way. Which one do you like best right now? Because we all know we've had kids. It all matters when you're asking right then.
It's true. It's
That
true.
is true.
There you go.
The wheat is so unique. The wheat and Tarnation, I feel like that flavor profile is like the crowd pleaser. I mean, it's at 123 proof, but I feel like that profile stands up across.
So you're going to vote for the one you sold out from underneath me?
No, I'm not, Steve.
It's gonna, one final swing, one last slap.
Way to
He
do
gets
it.
it.
If I had to pick,
Congratulations, Adam. Okay.
I can only drink again. Bananas Foster is so unique, but Bailey's Barrel hits like all the spots. It's between those two.
Well, which is it going to be?
So it's wheat and Tarnation.
I think I'd go with Bailey's Barrel.
Bailey's Barrel. Okay. All right. So here's where we're at. The regular Old Monroe didn't get any votes, but again, that's the base product, and we're talking about off profile, the other one. So I think you did a good job here because you had votes for all of them besides that one. So the Wheat and Bottle Mon and Big Red both had one vote, and then Wheat and Tarnation had 2 votes. Bananas Foster had 4 votes, but our champion for the night with 5 votes is Bailey's, the Bailey's Barrel. So how about that?
All
Excellent
right.
work here, buddy. So
The
good
highest
stuff
proof
across the
one
board,
wins.
though. Yeah. There's no bad ones here. So whatever one might be your favorite is the one that you're actually drinking at that moment. I think is probably the correct answer. But we made everybody say what their favorite was. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Well, Adam, let's hear a round of applause for Mr. Adam Stumpf for joining us, making it a special event, and telling us about all of these. And he's doing some good stuff over in Columbia. Maybe people want to follow this journey. We'll wrap this one up, Adam, by letting you share whatever you like.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Sure.
When you say we, when you're developing recipes, who is the we?
I mean, honestly, I'll generally get some kind of harebrained idea in my mind, whether it's from 3 a.m. reading, visiting a distillery, whatever. Just get some kind of idea, and like that's a path I want to start to go down. And anybody that's in the distillery on that particular day is the sounding board. So it's going to be Laura, it's going to be Jim, our sales director, actually an ABV crew member. Taylor is our new assistant distiller. So now Taylor,
yeah.
Yay!
So she, by the way, she's got a killer palate. She tasted this product we're bottling. It's a margarita, and she was able to pick out like every note. It's amazing. But anyway, like it's really like who are around that day, like, and it's weird because it's kind of like the different conversations you have regarding an idea that drive you down a particular path, and finally you get to the point where you're like, screw it, we're just gonna try it. So it's no real answer, but I mean, other than who's around, I'm pretty sure Steve has probably been around enough.
Oh yeah.
At least
I hang out there enough.
My
adult
ideas.
daycare. So yeah, that's where I go. That's where I go to hang out. Yes. Apparently I'm going on Friday, so looking forward to that. So Adam, anything you want to share? And of course, we'll stick around too. If we want to chat, have any questions for Adam, we'll stick around after we.
We got like half a glass of each of those left.
Yeah, so we'll chat.
Biggest thing to share is, we're a small distillery. We've been growing as we can and kind of developing flavors and products as we can. We're super excited about what the future holds, not just because of the increased inventory we're able to lay down, but we're running at this point like historically accurate recipes on a coinciding, historically accurate still. So that really has us jazzed, and I'm really excited, especially about the Bailey's barrel, because that's very similar to our standard Old Monroe recipe we've been laying down for the last 2 years or so. And the Bananas Foster, though, pretty eye-opening tonight, that like we need to lay more of that down. We've run one batch of that recipe only, so need to do more of it. The biggest thing I can say is today Laura actually just launched our online store. So you can actually buy our products online. You can go through our website, stumpyspirits.com, and I think we're available in 40 states at this point. So
yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty
Yeah.
solid. And yeah, we use the coupon code Stumpy's10 and get 10% off right now. So yeah, that's pretty good too.
like, you know this.
Yeah.
Crazy.
How about that? I'm on top of this. I read my emails when they come in. So yeah. Yeah. On that note, again, we'll say goodbye here, and but we'll stick around. You want to talk whiskey? You want to ask Adam any questions? We will do that and hang out and drink a little whiskey. But of course, we'll let our at-home audience go ahead and watch and finish watching the video. So take care, everybody. See ya. Bye.
Cheers.
Later.
Cheers.